Thanks so very much, our sister Eriza, for your sweet song. God bless you and God do you good. Once again, this is Matalo TV coming to you from our studios, and I know wherever you are, you're waiting eagerly to hear what you're going to discuss about the boy child. Yes, you can bear me witness that many things are going wrong in the life of the boy child, and we cannot allow ourselves to bury our heads in the sand when things are going wrong. We must raise our voices and we must take care of our boy child. And so today I want to welcome all of us on board, and I want to promise all of us that we will not frustrate, we will not discourage, but we are going to give you the best. Be reminded, in Matalo TV we always give the best. We don't we don't just give as any information, but we give that information that will help you become better than you are today. And so to those of you that are following us through Facebook, please continue encouraging me to join and also to follow them that are following us through YouTube. Continue encouraging so many of your friends to subscribe to our channel, and God will bless you. Them that are following us through Instagram and Twitter, just do the same, and the Lord bless you. Not forgetting our many friends that are following us through TikTok. Continue sharing our page and continue also liking, and also encourage many to be part of this. Yes, I've always said that a man is built up of 6 pillars, namely that he is a leader, he is a provider, a protector, he must be hardworking, a counselor, and a priest in his own capacity. And now that I know you are eagerly waiting to learn more today we are going to discuss the role of a father in the formative stage of a child. The role of a father in the formative stage of a child. That's where we'll be today. And I want to give us some space to look for a notebook and a good pen, because you're going to learn so many things. Remember, this is a call to the hurting man. The world is full of cry. Everywhere there are cries because the boy child is getting destroyed by the day. But we cannot allow ourselves to sit down and watch things go wrong. And now, because I want you to get into this, allow me to switch to the other side of the studio and bring to us this other number. Thanks also very much, our sister Jane, for your sweet song. God bless you and do you good. Yes, due to public demand, I've been forced once again to teach on the role of a father in the formative stage of a child. Yes, remember in my past lessons, I taught that it was the duty of a good father, and it should also be the duty of a good father today, to introduce their sons into proper parenting, because sometimes what we suffer most is because of the faulty parenting that we found ourselves in. And so it was the duty of a good father, and it should also be the duty of a good father today to introduce their sons into the proper parenting or good parenting. And I remember in my past lessons, this is where we dealt with childhood stage and adolescent. And today I want to introduce us to this stage, this formative stage, whereby we are going to interrogate and get to understand what does it mean to have a formative, what is this that we are calling formative stage? Now, when we talk of formative stage, this is the age, this is the stage whereby we talk about ages 0 to 8 years. Yes, when we talk about formative stage, this is the stage from where we begin from 0 age to 8 years. Yes, and it is also a rapid, a period of a rapid cognitive, that is in terms of intellectual, social, emotional, and physical development. So this is where a child can be lost or be properly nurtured, because it's where they develop in their intellectual. It is where they develop also socially. It's where they also develop emotionally, as they develop in physically. So it is important that we take good care of such that are coming up. And I remember uh, this is what I said, that a father would tell their sons that it is very important to understand that babies are innocent. So babies know nothing. They are so innocent. They are like an empty page. A new chapter, from where if you write something long, it will carry with that child forever. It's a new chapter, and whatever you write in that new chapter, it will carry with that child for forever. So a father would tell their sons, now that a child is innocent, you must be very careful as a father to know what to write on that new chapter. Because if you write some bad information on that new chapter, that information will carry with that child forever. And I've always given us some examples. Like sometimes I've given such examples, like if a child is born in America and they're from Africa, it does not matter how black they are, but whatever language that will be introduced to such children that are born in America, though African, that is the language that they learn, and that is the language they'll use for communication the rest of their lives. So, and sometimes they even speak better language than the original people. So this is what I'm trying to communicate to us, that a father would tell their sons, my son, it is important that you understand, as a father, you have a duty to, to write those true values and those things that are of importance in the mind and the heart of your child. So if you allow yourself to write the wrong information in the heart or the mind of that child, some days you lose that child. And that's why a child or a baby is innocent. And a father would tell their sons, my sons, you must also get to understand that babies can eat anything. So when you find a child eating anything, it is their nature. And because we don't have fathers who train their sons to understand good parenting, sometimes you see a young couple with a new kid, with a young kid who is being beaten. Like an adult, and sometimes they are harassed from every side. Listen to this. A father would tell their sons, learn this. It is in the nature of children to eat anything. So if you find your child eating that which is not good, it's not the right time to beat them up. It is time to train the child to understand what to eat from not from that which is or which not to eat. So it is not high time to shout them down. It's not high time, to harass them. It is time to train them, to teach them on what to eat from that which they should not eat. So a child is so, a child can eat anything, and so it is the duty of the father. As much as the mother is taking care, it is also your duty as a father to put in your input, to contribute in the upbringing of that kid. Yes, remember I've just said that in this age, in the formative age, it's where a child develops intellectually, socially, emotionally, and they also develop physically. So if you don't train your child to develop, intellectually, you may lose that child. If you don't train your child to understand how to relate and how to behave socially, that child, you may lose that child in that area. If you disconnect, if you lose your child emotionally, sometimes you may lose them forever. So these are some of the very important issues that we need to deal with in parenting. So a father would tell their sons, my son, you have a duty to train your child to know what to eat and not to eat, because what you train a child or what you teach a child, the child grows with that. And I've always said again and again, we are results of what we see and what we hear, because children are very good in copying. They copy from what they see their parents do. If you hear a child abuse another child from outside, they are only trying to practice what they heard from their parents. Or what if you see a child sometimes misbehave or do things that are not right, they are trying to copy what they saw from their parents. And so a father would tell their sons, you have a duty, and a great duty, to teach your child what to eat and not what to eat. Another thing that a father would tell their sons is that children are vulnerable. And remember, we are talking about that children develop physically. So as they develop physically, they get attacked by sicknesses and diseases. And if you are not well trained to understand all these things, sometimes you may quarrel your wife, and sometimes you may mess up with your wife because you want to harass her. She never took good care of the child. She is careless. Listen to this. It is only that you don't know that children are vulnerable to sicknesses and diseases. And so a father would tell their sons, my son, you don't eat everything and you remain empty pocket when you are raising up your children. You must always have some money kept ready for that bad day. And we have a generation today who care less, a generation today who do not know how best to raise and to nurture their children. They quarrel and they call names to one another. They don't understand the upbringing of a child. So a father would tell their sons, as much as the mother of the child is taking care, she is playing her part, you must also play your role in the upbringing of that kid. Be reminded, a child understands many things when he learns from a father. And the Bible, I want us to borrow something from the Bible. If you read in the book of Proverbs, chapter number 22 and verses 6, the Bible says what? That train a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it, or he will not turn from it. Now, this is a command from the word of God. And be reminded, a father is a leader. He is also a teacher. And we must get to understand that we have a bigger role as fathers in the formative stage of our children. If we lose them there, if we disconnect with them from that early age, that formative stage, we may lose them forever and never find them again. Now, a father would go on and tell their sons, my son, it is important you understand that a child requires tender care. Yes, a child requires tender care. It is very important for the young parents to understand this, and it is also important for all fathers to understand this, because sometimes we are messing ourselves because of lack of knowledge, lack of information. Listen to this: when a child is coming up, when you're bringing up your child from 0 age to 8 years, you need to understand that they require tender care. So if you harass them, you scare them. If you harass them, you destroy you destroy their ego. If they are boys, if you harass them, you create some fears in them. And so a father would tell their sons, it is important you understand that a growing up child demands or requires tender care. So you must understand that children are delicate. Yes, you can destroy their mind, you can destroy their emotions, you can destroy their social life, and you can destroy even their development, because a child develops in many stages. You can also destroy their development. So you must understand, a father would tell their sons, you must be very cautious how you handle the young one, because it is easy for you to destroy them. It is easy for you to damage their lives. It is easy for them. It is easy for you to damage their emotions. So a father would tell their sons, a child requires tender care. We have fathers today who don't care. They go drink themselves silly, and they come shouting at their children. When they come back at night, they come harassing their children. When they come back home drunk, listen to this. You must understand that what you are doing today, it will reciprocate on your child. So a child requires tender care. You must know how best to handle yourself as you're bringing up your child. As you're bringing up your child, whether a daughter or a son, you should know how best to handle them. Remember this, and I want to remind us this, that a child copies a lot from what they see, and they also copy from what they hear. So if you're not careful, you may spoil your child from an early age, and you may lose them in the near future. So another thing a father would tell their children, their sons, is that a child can a child can follow anybody. Yes, this one is also very important. Now listen to this and listen carefully. A child can follow anybody. Yes, whatever interests the child, they go by that. And so, if fathers never introduce to their sons how to bring up their daughters and sons, they leave them to anything and to any information that comes their way. Why are we losing, our children in great numbers? It's because so many of us don't know that a child has the capability to follow anybody. So we have left our children to the TVs. We have left our children to mobile phones and other gadgets. And remember this: what excites a child, they go by that. So if you're not there for your children to help them follow after you, they will choose to follow after anything else that excites them. So a father would tell their sons, when you are there for your child, you are protecting them from outside influences, or from the kinds of the information that they are gathering around today. So when you are there for your child as they are developing, you become a security to their mind, a security to their emotions, a security to their social life, a security in their development. So it is important that we spare more time for our children. So a child can follow anybody, and even with spiritual children, yes, they can follow anybody. If you're not a good Bible teacher in your church, if you don't teach the real word of God in the church, they will borrow other informations and they'll be messed up. That's why it is also important that spiritual fathers bring up their spiritual daughters and sons in the true foundation of the word of God. Listen to this and listen carefully. So a father would tell their sons, my son, if you are not there for your daughter, for your son, they'll follow other people. They will follow other informations. So it is important that we do not only give our children the mobile phones and other gadgets and expose them to the TVs and to those other programs that they watch around. It is important that we understand, as we release them, as we expose them to such, we will lose them. But if we are there for them, we'll give them security and we'll give them a better future. Now, a father would not stop there. A father would tell their sons that that a child requires somebody to train and to teach. Yes, a child requires somebody to train and to teach. Yes, sometimes we assume so much, and I've seen it, and I've seen the mess that we are experiencing today. We want our children to to listen like us. We want our children to see the way, to see things the way we see them. We want our children to conduct themselves as mature people. It cannot work. It will never work, and it cannot work like that. Here, there is a child is a child, and they need to be trained to understand how they grow intellectually. They need to be trained to understand how they grow socially, because if a child is not introduced to social life, such a child will become very poor socially. So it is the duty of the father, it is the duty of a good parent to introduce their sons and daughters into social matters on how to relate socially, because we are all social beings and we were created to socialize. So if we deny our children to understand the social aspects of life, we will lose them and they will lose themselves. So it is important that a father train and teach their sons and daughters the importance of socializing. Yes, if you come to my tribe, we have a saying that that people, when you know how to relate with people, you can never grow poor, you can never go hungry, because as you relate with those other people, what you don't have, you get it from those who have. So it is important that sons today get to understand that it is the duty of the father, as much as the mother is taking care and also training in her part, it is the duty of the father to train their children to develop intellectually, to develop socially, and also to develop emotionally as they develop in their physical lives. Now listen to this and listen carefully. A father would tell their sons, my son, it is important that you understand that every child requires somebody to train and to teach. And this one thing I want to mention here, that don't ever fool yourself. A child will learn from what you do as a father. So if you are taking your children, to nightclubs, and you are exposing them to all nonsense that takes place there, or all kinds of wicked things that do take place in the nightclub, let me tell you, it's only a matter of time. Some days that son of yours, that daughter of yours will be so wicked, because you introduced them, you taught them the wrong, the wrong things, and so they will copy that and they will adhere to that and they will practice that better than anybody else. So, and now to those of you who are taking children to the wrong places, it is high time that you stop, because if you train a child in the wrong way, they'll go in that wrong direction. And if you train a child in the right way, they'll follow the right way. As much as sometimes they will try to rebel, it's just a matter of time. Some days they'll come back. Be assured of that, that some days they will come back. If you have ever given them the right foundation and they have decided to rebel for some time, just allow them that some time. After some time, these children will come back to the right way. Now let's move from there. I have seen fathers smoke in front of their children. Now, what authority do you have to caution your children not to smoke? I have seen fathers quarrel their their wives before their children. Now, what authority will you have to caution your son or your daughter not to quarrel? I have seen parents fight, in front of their children. Now, what moral authority do you have to caution your son or your daughter when they start to fight with their husbands and their wives? Now, it is important to understand that a child requires somebody to teach and to train. So it is important as fathers to ask ourselves the right question. What information am I passing down to my children? What teachings am I giving to my children? What examples am I setting to my children? Those are some of the tough questions that we need to consider and ask ourselves. Because if we don't handle ourselves in the right way, we are setting an example to our children, and some days they'll be more worse than we are. I have seen even mothers practice immorality in front of their children. Yes, they bring in their houses some boyfriend and they do all manner of wicked things in front of the children. Let me tell you, do not ask why your daughter is turning a prostitute. Do not ask why your son is turning to become a womanizer wherever he goes. Listen to this. Whatever examples you set to your children, they will follow after that. Whatever you teach your children, whatever you train your children to understand, they will keep by that no matter what. Now, I don't want to go further than that, but I know you can look around and tell whether you are doing it right or wrong. Now, from there, a father would tell their sons, my son, listen to this. When you get to marry and when you get to start children, children require somebody to emulate. They want somebody to emulate. Yes, and that's why if you are a good father and if you are a good mother, your children will emulate you. They will like to be like you. They will like to do things like you because every child requires somebody to emulate. Yes, and I've ever even had children in school. They say, I want to become like Barack Obama. They want to become like those influential people. Listen to this. That hunger to emulate is with every child. And so it is important that as parents we conduct ourselves in the best way possible, such that our children will emulate us. Let us not be reckless with our lives. Let's not be careless with our lives, but let us be the living examples that our children can emulate. Now, another thing we must understand that children requires to grow up. Yes, and it is the duty of a father to help their children grow up. Yes, I've always given us an example. Now, with myself, when my son becomes of age, I don't entertain them in my house because they will never grow up. I tell them it is high time that you rent your own house and start understanding how to grow up in every aspect of your life. Yes, they may grow up physically, but if I will not prepare them to grow in every other aspect that touches their life, they may become poor sons and daughters. They may become so useless for this life. And so I always tell my sons and I prepare them ahead of time, when you become of age, I'll not allow you under my roof. I'll train you the hard way, but some days you celebrate what I did to you. Yes, when we are parting ways, it's not that easy. busy. They feel like my father is not there for me. My father doesn't like me. Yes, that time they may not like me, but what I'm training them to understand, what I'm depositing in them will help their generations to come. Now listen to this and listen carefully. It is important that all of us understand that we have a duty, we have an obligation. As fathers, we cannot run away from the formative stage. We cannot make ourselves so busy not to attend to the formative stage. I've always said that one again and again, but because I know there are people who have listened to me when I started speaking about fathers handling adolescent. Yes, you must understand that as we deal with the formative stage, there are other stages ahead there. There are those who heard me speak about a father taking the responsibility from 16 to 35, and it's like, where is the duty of the father in the formative stage? Yes, it's only that maybe you never heard me teach about the formative stage and some other stage and adolescent stage. Now today I just want to make it clear here that a father must start with their sons and daughters from the formative stage and grow with them. But they can't, they appear more when these sons and daughters become of age, because that is the time sometimes they don't listen to their mothers, they don't listen or they don't respect their mothers. And that's where now a father now rises up. The voice of the father now comes up to correct the mistakes that they are making. The father's voice come up to correct the foolishness that is within them. That is where now the father now takes another role to perfect this child to becoming mature. So remember, it is the duty of the father to help their sons and daughters to mature. Listen to this. I want to say it again and again. It is the duty of the father to help their sons and daughters to mature. So it is important that you understand it that way. I know there are people on who listen to me when I was only talking about a father taking care from 16, that is, from that age of adolescent to adulthood. Yes, there is also another part of it, the formative stage, until we come to that adolescent stage. So it is important that we clarify that, such that nobody get confused. We walk this journey, mother and father, from 0 age to 8 years, and from 8 years to adolescent, we walk together in that journey. But we become more vocal, fathers become more vocal when these boys and girls becomes of age, when they become adolescent, when they start feeling that they are also mature in their own way. That's when we become more vocal as fathers to correct and to clear the foolishness that is in the hearts of the children, and to give them the right stuff to maintain them and to keep them until they become fully mature. So these are some of the information that fathers need to have with them or to carry with them, such that they may be able to bring up a healthy generation, and a healthy generation that will also raise another healthy generation. Now God bless you and God do you good. I'm going to teach you more other things, and I'm going to expose a lot of information to all of us, such that we may not lose our boy child and also not lose our girl child. So God bless you and God do you good. Remember, I introduced something new today, and I said we are going to have some Kiswahili programs for those of us who can understand Kiswahili. Be ready from the day tomorrow. We are going to bring to all of us some programs in Kiswahili, and I believe shall be well with all of us. God bless you and God do you good. Until we meet in that other lesson, God's grace be upon you, and let the blessings of the Lord be part of your life from this moment onwards. God bless you and God do you good.
mushie muthaka wakitona thafu ikengaga tariua gutire mwihio no mwe ugatonya mushie ucio nikio ndahoya mwathani ndukahituke gera hari ni mwathani ndukana ndige mwathani tigwira nawe mwathani utonye ngoro-ini niguone ndukahituke gera hari ni mwathani ndukana ndige mwathani